Good evening, folks. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. And yes, I know, I look like crap. It's freaking hot out there. Play. Anyways, we're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC, but before we do the usual disclaimers. In the description box, you're going to see the link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It is written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they surveyed over 900 ABA professionals regards to the JRC's quote-unquote behavioral modification program. The JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they do not remove it from the website. So you know the drill. Read it, share on all your social media. We also have the link to NeuroClastic's public statement in regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding in case the JRC has the balls to see through with this threat. They are a small not-for-profit. They're bringing in about $10,000 a year. So any little bit helps. We also got the links to the Agape boarding school situation. Agape boarding school is a Christian-themed boarding school for troubled boys based out of Stockton, Missouri, and they now have, and pending and still counting, 21 pending lawsuits that allege child abuse, sexual abuse, as well as starvation and probably many others. We've barely began to touch the surface on this particular subject. Please go to the links, take a look at them, look at the news reports and vids that we have cast so far. Also, we have linked to their change.org Shut Agape Boarding School Down petition there as well. Please sign and share on all your social media. We also got the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, which includes Autistica's massive archive on the subject, the templates, and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. Also, wanted to let you know, we also have a link to Jennifer Masemba's behavioral sheet, also in the description box. It's a good thing to have pulled up to take a look at while we're reading through this, because it basically gives the lie to every single piece of bullshit the JRC says in defense of what they actually shock students over. Also, the behavioral rehearsal lessons and all the other bizarre shit they get up to. Okay, so we're going to the second paragraph, staff-student interactions. JRC does deliberately discourage social interactions between staff and students that are not required as part of the student's educational and treatment program. Is that so, JRC? Let's read through this, and then we're going to talk about an incident that was very inappropriate. We try to prevent any social interactions from occurring between staff and students other than those that are required by the staff member's role in carrying out the educational, treatment, and supervision responsibilities. We want the staff member to maintain a professional distance between him and herself and the student. If such a distance is not maintained, serious problems will arise, such as inappropriate relationships between students and staff. It may be difficult for a staff member to administer various positive and negative consequences that must be administered objectively without favor and accurately day by day. Discouraging social interactions between student and staff also diminishes the likelihood. So, we kind of went over this yesterday. We read this yesterday, but an interesting point was brought up. And then we'll do the shorter paragraph here. They didn't talk about the fact that they threw a student staff mixer. A student staff mixer that ended up with having a student and a teacher in a very inappropriate relationship. This is in fact a DESE report that was filed about a few years after this, not that long after this actually. So JRC, if you are hosting mixers with students and staff, do you think that's appropriate? Because I don't think so. Normal interaction with staff and students, like after school programs like the rest of us get to enjoy, that is normal interaction. A student feeling comfortable enough to be able to come up to a teacher where there is a problem or something is really wrong, that is normal. These are the type of things that you tend to discourage. But as far as personal space and inappropriateness, your students are watched while they bathe. You literally have a staff member sitting there on the toilet in the bathroom with them with the door wide ass open, and you want to talk about fucking boundaries. Because we have this in several reports. Again, in the description box, folks. You can go on my videos and take a look at all the DESE reports we've gone through. You are the last people on the planet that needs to talk about what's appropriate and inappropriate between a student and staff. It is never appropriate for a staff to be there while a student is bathing. I don't care what your hygiene program is, that is not acceptable. These are not students that need proper assistance. In which, guess what, JRC? There's proper protocols for that. These are students that are fine to bathe on their own. They have no physical limitations that would make that difficult for them, but they still have a staff member sitting on the fucking toilet while they're in the shower to make sure they bathe appropriately. You are the last fucking people on the planet that I would go to try to learn about an appropriate student-teacher relationship. Okay? San. Moving on here. Student interactions. Appropriate social interaction with other students is encouraged at JRC, and increasing opportunities for social interaction with other students is a part of the reward system. Here we go. Remember, we've been talking about this. The JRC wants to say, but no, it's not true. We do encourage it. They have to earn it. Let me explain you something about us autistics. Do you think we want to fucking earn the right to be social? Because if you would have gave my ass a choice back in the day, I'd be a fuck no. What? You want me to kick a hole in this wall so I don't have to deal with these assholes at recess? Because I will kick a motherfucking hole in the wall. Think that will get me a month away from these assholes? It's pretty much how it goes, folks. Pretty much how it goes. You're telling us that they have to earn the right through reward systems in order to socialize. That's a problem, JRC. And why is that? Because practice makes perfect. If these kids are not given regular opportunities in order to socialize with one another, how the fuck do you expect them to do it when they age out of the system? Seriously? Do I have to explain it to you like you're 5? Most programs encourage regular social interaction outside of the school, even with peers, not just with their same disabilities, but with regular peers as well. I had to do it. I didn't want to do it because most of those guys were bullying bastards, and the only time I actually managed friends were then when they were misfits like me. But it gave me enough knowledge to know how to get around in normie society, even if I hate it. But that's neither here nor there. We all have our own groups of people we tend to prefer to hang out with. That's not news. But the fact of the matter is, how are these kids supposed to practice these social skills that you say you're teaching them if you do not allow them to interact with each other unless they earn it? See, regular students interact with each other all the time, whether or not they're in trouble. Let me say that again for you dumbasses in the back. Regular neurotypical students, whether they are or not they are in trouble, are still allowed to interact with their peers. Earning their right to be sociable with the other students is a joke, and it's a bad one. But let's see them double down on stupid here. As in the case of any other reward, an event will function as a reward if the student can enjoy it at any time, regardless of whether he or she has earned it or not. Therefore, there is a good reason to control student-to-student interaction in a program that uses all positive features, including social interaction, as a part of a comprehensive reward system. It's garbage, JRC. You're garbage. Do you not understand? But if it's something that they enjoy, then it's got to be a reward, and they have to earn it, Tiffany. You don't understand. Oh, I understand perfectly. Your system doesn't work in the real world. I'm going to tell you why. Because we have to have social interactions every single day. They're not just fun events for us to be able to go to. We have to interact socially just to get by every day. You are socially interacting when you go to the grocery store, when you go to the office, when you go to work. Just about in every goddamn thing that you do. At least in one form or another. So this concept of socializing as a reward fails on its face because it's not at all how the real world actually operates. It's not about going to a fun pizza party or skate park or some other stupid thing you want to pull out of your ass. Most social interaction that we all engage in day to day, it's not rewarding. It's necessary. Let me say it again for the morons in the back, okay? Most socializing that goes on day to day with our peers is not a reward. It's a necessary part of human life. The fact that outside of these little functions, you do not allow the students to interact as any other school, any public school, allows students to interact while they're walking through the hallways, while they're going to lunch, means it fails on its face, and it's not helping them in any way improve their social skills. You can't put someone in a stilted place like a function and expect that to translate out in the real world where you are expected to be more social than that. You're putting them in a fucking vacuum. You're putting them in it for a short period of time, and you want to check it off the checklist like that's good enough. It's not. It's not even close to being good enough. And if you idiots want to take your heads out of your ass long enough to actually really look at your program and compare it with the other programs out there, you would see that. Now, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and close out. We don't get very many reviews on this channel, especially on this subject. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time this evening. And as always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. See y'all tomorrow.